Alrighty, you guys, what's going on today? So today I want to talk to you a little bit about a question that I see around the internet and in other places. It is, can you use the KRK Rokit studio monitors for your keyboard? Now, of course, for those of you who aren't familiar with KRK Rokit studio monitors, here's a little bit of background. KRK Rokit studio monitors began getting manufactured in about 2003 with the Generation 1s. We are now in 2020, and what you're looking at right now are the KRK Rokit G4 8s. That is the Generation 4 8-inch low frequency driver studio monitors. For the most part, people use these for mixing, producing, composing, making music on their computers, and for applications that are more in the post world. Although there are some people who like to use them for performing things like DJing, especially when you get to the 8-inch low frequency drivers and the 10.3s. They're really great for smaller parties, smaller events, where people are just playing music off of their phones, or actually DJing and performing. It's not often that you really hear about people using these sorts of studio monitors for practicing piano or for performing or playing piano at home, but they definitely can be used for that. And that's what I kind of want to talk about. Why you would use these, maybe how you would set them up, and if they're any good or not. So for starters, they definitely can be used for a piano. I have a regular piano over here that is actually just part of my recording setup, and I use these studio monitors to, monitor myself while I'm playing. And it's super helpful. All I have to do is take a 1/4-inch or instrument cable, a stereo or mono instrument cable that you would regularly plug out of any sort of piano, plug it into my interface, and then the sound runs out my studio monitors. Of course, I have to make sure that the settings are pretty low so that I don't get any sort of latency while I'm playing. But it's very easy to set up depending on the studio, or depending on the interface that you have. For me, I have a UAD Apollo, and it works great. The analog to digital converters are wonderful. The piano always sounds really nice and warm, and just very professional overall. So that's, I would recommend, if you're going to be using your piano or keyboard with these studio monitors, that you go ahead and get yourself a good interface. That way you can, both set the preamp levels to make sure that you're getting a good level into your monitor so that you get a good level out, and also because it just gives you a little bit more control. Now, of course, you do have the ability to plug in your keyboard directly into the back of these, as there is one balanced input in each of these monitors. So if you were to either do a stereo, I highly recommend doing stereo, especially if you're doing keyboard, as keyboard is a stereo instrument. But then you can go stereo out of your piano or keyboard, and then put one in the back of the left speaker and one in the back of the right speaker. And that's just a simple 1/4-inch instrument cable, TRS preferably. It's balanced. If you don't know what that is, this is kind of what you're looking for here. TRS, tip ring sleeve. It's very standard. If you play keyboard, you probably have one of these already. You probably know about them, but just to make sure. Why you would use them. If it's in your studio setup, if it's convenient, go for it. For me, it is very convenient. There's no other reason for me to have another amplifier in here, because I have my monitors right here. So that's exactly why I use it. If it's as for asking if it's any good, I think it's great, especially if you get studio monitors that have a wider range. For these 8s, they have a really good range. It goes down to 36 hertz, which is plenty enough for me to hear my lowest notes on my keyboard, and everything above that, and you know, up to the highest ones. So really, really solid full range. All right, that's pretty much it for me. If you guys have any questions or insights about whether or not you think KRK Rokit monitors are good for a keyboard, then please feel free to let me know in the comments. All right, take it easy.